Mm. How's it going, everybody? Sorry, I was eating a little something before we started. But how are we doing? Happy Wednesday. We're back with another episode of our SF 49ers Live. Yesterday, I streamed 3 hours, 3 straight shows. I don't think I'm going to do that tonight, but we'll see. I was live last night on my own, and then Aaron and myself, we do our Tuesday thing, and then Larry Kruger hit me up last minute. I was like, let's do it. Let's connect. We hadn't talked in a minute, so it was a lot. you know, we're going to talk about training camp. Well, not training camp, practice. How did the O line look? I don't know. I wasn't there. It's normal practice. It's not open training camp anymore. So we're going to talk about all the practice and everything and leading up to the game. But what I really want to talk about is Trey Lance. How's it going, Hurricane, Ann Ford, Jaime, Deb, everybody? How's everybody doing? Lombardi is a clown. Yeah, let's talk about Michael Lombardi. So if you guys don't know who Michael Lombardi is, he has his own podcast now. Obviously, everybody has their own damn podcast. Everybody has a podcast now. But he was a former NFL executive. Like he's worked his way up, the rings in the front office of teams, and then about 2013, 2014, I think he was the GM. I think those were the GM of the Cleveland Browns. That tells you everything you need to know. He doesn't know about talent evaluation. This guy was the same guy that drafted. He was the GM during the time that the Browns drafted Barkevious Mingo, and in the first round, he's like a top 10 pick. Barkevious Mingo and Johnny Manziel. He was the GM of the Browns front office the year they drafted Johnny Manziel. So we're going to talk about him. Yeah, Stephen Rennell, Lombardi on Trey's mom. I was definitely messed up. It was out of pocket. Jeff, 49er Jeff, what's up, man? I'm good. Randy Daytona, can't speak right now. What's up? How's it going, Faithful? But yeah, so yesterday he went on his podcast and he started the rant. Y'all have seen it. You've seen it enough. It's everywhere. And today we're going to talk about it because Raheem Mostert came to bat. He came to bat for his former team. This is the first person that's really come out since this, last week. This week has been rough for Trey. So we're going to talk about it. It's interesting. A former teammate comes out. I'm sure the players respect him and have Trey's back, but even from the crib, he just didn't have the quarterback instinct. So he's saying when he was born, he was never born with being a quarterback. Like he was not born to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But the way he said it, the undertones, just drop someone's mom. When you're describing something that's kind of, I thought it was a personal shot. I thought it was a dig. That's the way I took it. It's kind of disrespectful. Not kind of. It was disrespectful. And you got to realize, Mike Lombardi, and we talked about this several years ago when the 49ers were at the third pick of the draft, everybody thought they were going Mac Jones. Not everybody. The media, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Mike Lombardi, Greg Papa. They all thought, oh, yeah, it's going to be Mac Jones. That's the pro-ready guy. Why would Kyle go and get anybody else? It's not his system. That's not his quarterbacks. Mac Jones. And they were so hell-bent on being right. So when they were wrong, everybody was kind of pissed off. Everybody was mad. They were like, why? Oh, my God, Kyle. So they were mad at Kyle because they thought they had per a source. They had sourced information. They knew it was going to be Mac Jones, but it wasn't. So they've been holding on to this gripe. And anytime they get a chance, they rip Trey Lance. Because now when Trey is struggling, they're like, ha, 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 you should have went and got Mac in their mind. That's the way I look at it. They're like, ha, 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 that's karma. That's karma. That's the way they look at it, these guys, these media members that were wrong. Mike Florio was one of those first guys that started to attack the Niners. Like, Mike Florio has been so anti-49ers ever since he got kind of pushed away from getting insider information. He used to be a Niner insider, and John Lynch came along, and there was no more cracks. Remember, he says, we don't want to leak information to the media. A lot of media members in the past, they loved it when they had inside sources and things like that. They could report things and say, haha, I know insider information about the Niners. But now, when Lynch took over, they tried to seal the cracks. They didn't want stuff to leak out because previously information was always coming out. Parag and Balky and everything, it was all always, rumors, and then stuff came true. There was a lot of leaks everywhere. So John Lynch, he cinched down on that. And, Mike Lombardi is one of those guys that was mad at him. And for him to take a dig at Trey, I thought it was unprofessional. So Raheem Mostert on the Sports Illustrated post, because they posted it on Sports Illustrated on this morning. I made a comment too. I was like, I basically said it was unprofessional. Like, you can say all you want to say. Like, at the end of the day, if you don't think Trey's good, if you don't think he's going to be good, if you think he's a bust, whatever, that's fine. That is totally fine. You can sit there and say that. You can back it up with film and whatever. Like, that's fine. But to go and take a personal shot and say when his mother lifted him out of the crib, like, that was kind of the way he said it was just so unclassy, and the way he spoke about it was just ugly, man. And then he says that, and then if you continue the quote and continue to listen, he says, "Oh, Brandon Allen's probably going to make the team over Trey. Like, Brandon Allen is going to take the third quarterback spot over Trey Lance. Trey Lance doesn't even belong on this team." Like, he went further and just started disrespecting Trey. That's the way I took it. So then Raheem Mostert, he came out and he says, "Hey, man, y'all need to stop disrespecting him like this." Trey Lance is him. "This is crossing the damn line. Everyone has something to say, but can't back their own BS up." So, that's Raheem Mostert. He was a former Niner, former teammate of Trey Lance, and he got a lot of disrespect, and people hated on him a lot. So I'm sure he knows how it feels, to be disrespected and people coming at your neck. He had a lot of injuries. Trey Lance has had some injuries. So, I know Raheem he didn't leave on the best of terms, and he said what he said last year, that the Niners don't have as much talent as the Dolphins, whatever. That's competition. That's smack talk. But for him to come out and have Trey Lance's back, that's crazy. That's awesome. He's a real one for that. Like, nobody else has come out and said anything. Raheem Mostert, he doesn't even play on the team. He doesn't even play on the Niners. You know what I mean? And the Niners, in a way, like, he felt like the Niners did him dirty. But the fact that he was able to stand up and call out Mike Lombardi, that's respectful, man. He's a humble person. That's a nice man. Like, Raheem's got his back. Again, I get it. I know people are sour on Trey, and they don't think he's gonna be good, and he's a bust or whatever the case is, right? Whatever the case is, like, whatever, you can have that opinion on it, but just be professional, back it up with facts, and I respect Raheem Mostert a lot for that, man. Real one, for sure. Yeah, I'm so happy that someone came out. I don't know. I saw a lot of people in the comments when I posted this. They said, "Is it weird that the Niners haven't said anything? He's the only one. It's a former teammate, not a current teammate. Like, is it weird that Raheem said something and not one of his current teammates?" I don't know. Do you guys find that weird? Do you find it weird that it's one of his current teammates that hasn't said anything, and it's been Raheem that said it, or do you not really look into that? Because those were the comments that I saw on the post. It was, "Oh, it's weird that Raheem's saying something and not any of these old his current teammates." I mean, obviously they're busy, they're game prepping. I'm sure they have things to say, but what do you guys think? Do you think it's, bad that anybody else hasn't said anything? I'll get your guys' take. Steve says, "How Lombardi knows the GM to be the Niners? He's not good at it. He drafted Manziel, the biggest bust of all time." Yeah, he drafted Johnny Manziel, man. Drafted Johnny Manziel. Yeah, much love and respect to Raheem Mostert. Raheem, the dream. I got some respect for Raheem on that, man, because he's right. You don't need to make it personal. It's unprofessional, you know. Big Mac, he says, Kurt Warner said Trey played better than people are saying in his preseason. Yeah, at the end of the day, it is preseason. I know we don't have a lot to go off of Trey Lance, and I know we don't have a lot of film out there, and the film that we have, there's a lot of negatives in it. And JT O'Sullivan the other day on his film review, he did a great job. He did a really good job, and he broke it down, and he showcased that basically Trey Lance, he's still a long way to go in terms of being a quarterback, and he wasn't throwing the ball. But we also have to consider that he's played 5 games. This was his first game after a whole year off of football. So you do have to kind of take a step back and give him another chance. There's been quarterbacks that have had so many chances. Look, Sam Darnold. He's on his 3rd team now. Like, we're giving him another chance. And Sam Darnold, he wasn't great when he first came. There's a lot of quarterbacks that sometimes it just takes them time. It's a hard position, figuring out the offense. Jordan Love sat for years. Alex Smith, it took him like 8 years until he was actually able to figure out how to run a damn offense. And he was a pretty good quarterback after that. So, I don't know, man. It's just this whole situation, the whole quarterback situation, not just this year, but over the years, has been just exhausting. And this year, it's at its worst, I feel it's so toxic. It's gotten to this boiling point, and I just can't stand it. Trey Lance gets so much unnecessary hate. He's probably the most hated quarterback in the league for nothing. He's done nothing to earn it. He was drafted number 3. The Niners, traded up. Trey Lance didn't tell them. Trey Lance didn't put a gun to their head and say, "You better draft me at 3." Like he didn't force them. He didn't bully anybody. You know what I mean? He's taken at 3. He came in and he got hurt. Didn't get to play. It's really all he's done. He just hasn't played a lot of football. That's all he's done is a whole lot of nothing, really, of not playing football. He hasn't played football. And people hate the man. Their own fan base. It's crazy to me. Enough is enough, says Ann Ford. My man Steven Reynolds says, the best for Trey, trade him to the Dolphins. Tua, he's got a lot of concussions. Reunite him with Mike McDaniel. I mean, honestly, that would be a good spot for Trey. Go to the Dolphins. They know how to use him. You got Raheem over there. He's got your back. Raheem the Dream, he's got your back now. Got a good team. Got Mike McDaniel. If Tua has a concussion, they're going to need another guy. Honestly, I wouldn't hate seeing Trey Lance go to Miami. For him. For his sake. Again, I've said this several times now that I feel the 49ers, at some point, maybe they trade Trey Lance for his own good. For his own good. And it's no hate, it's no disrespect to Trey. I like Trey. I want him to stick around. I think we need a good backup. But for his mental clarity, man, maybe they trade him. If I'm Trey Lance, I ask for a trade. I've said that. Yeah. At least we hit with Purdy. I mean, so far, but we got to see if he could continue and pick up where he left off. Purdy's not a guaranteed hit, So far, he's got a good career, a good start to his career, but it's still a long way to go. He's a young guy coming off a major injury. We don't know. The book's still being written on Brock Purdy. It's not finished. There's still a lot of chapters to go. We're basically on maybe chapter 1 that just finished. And we'll see how it goes. Christine says, I don't hate Trey. I just don't think he got a fair deal. Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird situation with Trey. And I talked about this. He got drafted by this team the year after they won this. They went to the Super Bowl, and everybody says we need a quarterback. Quarterback's the issue. So they went and traded up. It was one of the most crazy draft seasons of all time. Like, there was so many debates. It was Mac Jones. Should they go with Justin Fields? Should they go with Trey Lance? And there was just crazy amount. Should they go for Zach Wilson? Should they trade up? Should they try to get Trevor Lawrence? Like, there was even people saying trade up to get Trevor Lawrence, trade Nick Bosa. And before they even traded up to get that third pick, people thought they were going to get Deshaun Watson. People thought they were going to get Matt Stafford. Like, it was a crazy offseason that year. And then here comes Trey, this wide-eyed 21-year-old kid, young man, I should say. And people were like, he's undeveloped. I'm sure it was weird for the locker room. He didn't really get that chance to come in that first season. And you use the excuse of, okay, he's going to learn, just like a lot of these quarterbacks to get to sit behind a vet. But, I mean, if you're ready, we're going to walk away from Jimmy. Give the keys to the young man. If you struggle, he struggles. But at least he got to develop. 3 years later, still in the same boat. He has to develop. So, and unfortunately for him, he got injured last year. He got nicked up in his rookie season. And those injuries stunt your growth, in terms of development in the league. So it's been tough. And the media is, man, I just feel like they're against him. I've said this before. It's other quarterbacks get so many chances. They get so many chances. Trey Lance, he's played 5 games, and the media's already, he's done. He doesn't belong in the league. He doesn't belong in the NFL. It's tough. Gold-blooded says, it seems Trey just doesn't fit the system. Big arm, athleticism doesn't always equal to a great career. He's better fit in New England. Maybe he doesn't fit the system. Kyle wants that, short, intermediate type passer, quick release. He wants a guy to get the ball out quick, get the ball to your playmakers. He wants the yak guys to do the work. Like, that's the offense. And no disrespect to Trey, but his knock is short field passes, short passes, intermediate passes. You got to be able to make those quick passes. He can take the deep passing. He has athleticism. He can throw it deep. That's not always the Niners' offense. So, yeah, I agree with that, Gold-blooded. It's unfortunate for him. For a 7th rounder to hit already, talking about Trey. I mean, yeah, nobody expected a 7th round, especially the last pick of the draft, to do what he did. So shout out to Brock Purdy. I'm liking him. Hey, he's ready. He's healthy. Kyle Shanahan, we talked about it yesterday. He's 100% behind Brock Purdy. That's his guy. He's got to melt. He's got to melt in practice if he doesn't want to be. If he's not going to be the QB1, he's got to melt. He's not going to melt. Oh, man. Randy says, we could have taken Parsons if we weren't starting Trey anyways that season. Just saying, that's super. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, because he's always going to be scrutinized. The fact that he was the number 3 pick and there was so much talent. You know, it's like the year when the 49ers took Solomon Thomas, right? We always look back. You always look back. Hindsight is 2020. Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson in that draft. You know, you could have taken one of those guys over Solomon Thomas. We probably wouldn't even be in this boat to begin with, right? So Micah Parsons Niners could have got him over Trey Lance. So it's you look back at the draft, and that's why sometimes I hate doing that. You go look back in the draft, and you're like, oh my god, we could have had it. Oh my god, we could have had it. Oh my god, it's like the year we drafted Jalen Hurd, right? Niners could have had Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. You kidding me? But instead they took Jalen Hurd, and we all thought he was going to be the greatest player in the world, but he couldn't stay healthy. So a lot of times injuries just can ruin a career. And so far, Trey Lance's career has really been dictated by injuries. It's unfortunate, you know. Niner. Trey's living in his dreams and future right now. I hope it all works. I hope so too. I like the guy. He's a good, humble young man, good head on his shoulders. He's never done anything wrong. He's, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it works out for Trey Lance in the NFL, but I just don't think it's going to be with the Niners ultimately. But you never know what's going to happen. We don't know how, the rest of the season is going to pan out. We don't have a crystal ball. Maybe something happens and we have to rely on Trey. And if we do, I wish him all the luck and I hope he can succeed, Solomon Thomas looks huge on Hard Knock. That dude has transformed his body. He was kind of a pudgy. I mean, he was a big guy, but he was a little pudgy. He wasn't as muscular as he is now. Holy crap. Solomon Thomas is freaking jacked. He's jacked. Drunk says, it's crazy we lost 3 number ones and still almost getting to that bowl every year, man. Respect to our GM and front office and the depth. Yeah. I mean, we didn't have a first-round pick for a couple of years. And Trey Lance was the last first-round pick. And the Niners haven't really missed a beat. They've been close. They've been knocking on door. Knocking on heaven's door, right? It's close. But we got to get something. We need to get over the hump. But you're right. Shout out to this 49ers front office, man. They've kept us floating with these late-round draft picks. And Ford, good segue to what I wanted to talk to next. One thing about Trey is he blocks outside noise. So let's talk about this. So let me pull up stuff from Kyle Shanahan, what he said today. I don't know if you guys saw his press conference today, but he did talk about Trey Lance. What's up, SG? He talked about Trey Lance and, the fact that he's been under tons of scrutiny and the media has been hating. We all know, basically, the Mike Lombardi situation here that we've discussed. Let me see. Where is it at? Give me a second here. We'll pull it up. I want to get all the exact quotes. There we go. Pull this up. Give me a minute here. Okay. Hold up. We got technical difficulties. Give me a second. Of course. We always have technical difficulties. You gotta love it. Kyle pissing you off, Brendan? Kyle's pissing him off. Let's see what Kyle has to say about Trey Lance today. He spoke on it. So he talked about Trey Lance's criticism. He says, so going off of what Ann Ford just said, how she said that one thing about Trey is that he blocks the outside noise. He does a good job. And Kyle said that he does a damn good job of blocking out the negativity. So he did give him credit for blocking out the negativity. But he said, so the thing that Kyle, I really took away from this interview today, this press conference, is something I kind of hinted towards, is Trey Lance has so much pressure. Now, the pressure, is it warranted? Is it granted? Did Kyle put him in this position? But there's a lot of pressure on Trey Lance, and I feel bad for him, So basically, this is what Kyle Shanahan said. He says it goes with it for quarterbacks. It goes with it for anybody who's a high draft pick, but especially a quarterback. He goes, that's one of the tough things for that position, but also high draft picks. He goes, I mean, you watch receivers come in the league and they have a few drops early in camp, and it becomes a lot of pressure on them. People want to see those people take off and do it the right way and have no flaws, and that's just part of it. So, in a sense, I guess he's right. When you're a top 3 draft pick, it's going to come with pressure. It's going to come with scrutiny. The media is going to come at your neck. They're going to hate you if you fail. The moment you fail, they're waiting for it so they can post an article, so they can post a video, so they can talk about you on their podcast. Appreciate you, Brendan. You like the shirt? I love it. This is one of my favorite shirts. Off topic, but let's get back to this. So the media is going to put you in a pressure cooker situation, and it's sink or swim. In the NFL, if you can't handle the pressure, they're going to attack you. They're going to attack your character. That's it, unfortunately, because the way sports is covered now is people have podcasts, they have YouTube, they have social media at their fingertips. They got to write articles, and they are coming at you in every way. And if it's gonna get them clicks, if it's gonna get them views, that's great for them, because at the end of the day, the more people put eyes on them, the more money they're gonna get. So it's frustrating, because 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we didn't have all this. When I used to watch sports when I was younger, I didn't have all this, man. I didn't see all this media. I watched Sports Center. Whatever they told me was the gospel, and it was cool. We watched my man Stuart Scott, as cool as the other side of the pillow, Rich Eisen, and all them boys. And we was watching Sports Center. They show the highlights. You hear the news, and that's it. And you read the newspaper about what's going on. You hear, you follow your favorite columnist. That's it. And now it's everything. It's sports media. People have opinions. You got people that don't even know what they're talking about. They'll write an article, and there'll be people that put out rumors. Oh, I got a source. Who you don't even know who's their source, but per source, somebody says, and it has to be true. And that's how sports is taken off. So it's unfortunate. The pressure today is bigger now than it ever has been. Yeah, dude. Randy, Val, ESPN back in the day was it. Randy says we watched the same Sports Center episode 6. I would watch the same episode. I don't care if it was morning, day, or night. If that episode was on, I'm watching it. Baseball Tonight, I'm watching it. NFL Today. I used to watch those shows like the gospel. It was amazing. It's changed. I don't like ESPN anymore. Those guys are all clowns and bozos. They don't have really good broadcasters anymore like they did. It was a vibe. But nowadays, the pressure is so tough on these guys. And Kyle, he's right. There is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stigma that comes with being picked early, because if you fail, they're waiting for you to fail. They're waiting for you to fail. And Lo, you're right. ESPN is trash now. Telling my homie that yesterday. Absolutely. Baseball Tonight. Yeah, that was the grind, right? But you're right. You see on ESPN, they go out there and they're yelling and they're screaming and they're going out there. They don't even know what they're. You got pompous people out there. You got these shows where they're just screaming at each other. They're sitting around a table and they're screaming at each other, throwing their opinions. That's what they're doing. It's like people that go to work at their water cooler and they're just vibing and talking and screaming at each other. But what they did is they put it at a national level. It's water cooler talk. It's guys that go to work at the water cooler and they talk. That's it. But now it's because it's on TV. They got to know something. They got to know something. They have to know something because they're on TV. ESPN is absolutely for clicks now, Sati. That's it. Like, you watch these shows that they have now, it's just guys yelling at each other and saying he's terrible because of it. That's what they do. That's if the guy has a bad game, they're gonna rip him out, and that's unfortunate now. So Kyle is right in the fact that there is tons of pressure, no matter who you are as an early pick. It does come with the territory. It's unfortunate. I wish Kyle would have said a little bit more in terms of, I really love. I wish he would have said more like, I love Trey, his character, and this and that. But he was honest with his assessment in terms of the fact that, yeah, these younger players, they're going to be scrutinized. So he didn't sugarcoat it. And I did like how he says that Trey is he said he's damn good at blocking out the noise. Like, he did say that. And absolutely, Trey Lance, so far from what we see on the surface level, he does look good on blocking out the noise. He knows how to talk to the media. What did he say after the game? He said, I put it on me. That's on me. I got to get better. It's not we. He took the onus. He took, accountability. Like, that's great that he could go out in front of the media and say that. But how's he feeling inside? We don't know how he is doing in here. It's never how's Trey doing. We don't know. I hope he's doing good. I hope he's doing well. But nobody says, how's Trey doing? They always say, oh, he needs to do better. He's a bust. He's terrible. He can't cut it. He's not going to be in the league too long. He's garbage. Cut him. He's a bust. The guy can't do this. The guy can't do this. Cut him some slack a little bit. But because what Kyle Shanahan said is absolutely right. You're a top 3 pick. You're going to be scrutinized. Oh, you were a number 3 pick. You better be good. Oh, you're a bust. And he's not the only one. There's been many players throughout the years. When they can't live up to those expectations, media is going to come out their neck. Should I've done it myself with players. Javon Kinlaw. He's a bust. We call him out. I try to be so positive to these players, but eventually, at some point, you're going to call them out. Jake Moody last week, first game in the NFL preseason. People already calling him a bust. It's the world we live in. The higher draft pick you get, the more pressure you have on your shoulders. And that's the world we live in. That's sports today. I wish it was like ESPN Sports Center 20 years ago when I used to turn it on, coming home from college, and I saw my boys, Rich Eisen, Stuart Scott, maybe 25 years ago, Dan Patrick, all them cool dudes, Trey Wingo. Those were the days. Linda Cohn. Those were the days, man. Baseball Tonight. Da-da-da-da-da. I still remember that. But it's not like that anymore. Media has changed, unfortunately, probably for the worse. It's crazy. Adrian says, I used to watch Undisputed here and there, but that show, yeah, that's it. All these shows, I used to watch them. I used to love those. Like PTI, Pardon the Interruption. I used to think that was the coolest show. Undisputed, all these shows. I used to, pardon my take, I used to be like, okay, these are cool shows. Rome is Burning. I used to love those shows. And then as times got, Colin Cowherd, as time started progressing, people just got more negative and negative and negative because you know what? Negativity is going to sell. People are going to see you be negative and acting a fool, and you're going to talk trash. People are going to tune in because they don't agree with you, and they're like, oh my God, and they're going to post it on their socials. They're going to post it to this. You're going to get retweeted. It's going to be a trending topic, and it's unfortunate how social media works today. It's ruined the coverage of sports, Niner says, just because Trey's good at blocking all out doesn't mean it's easy. And that is that's well said, Niner Any. That's a great point. I love that you said it like that. Because, yes, he is so good at blocking it all. We see it all the time, right? Again, like we just talked about, he does a good job when he's in front of that camera, blocking it out. But is it easy? I for one, don't think it would be for me. I can't imagine it's just not easy to just go up there and be like, all right, there's cameras in his face, there's limelight. I'm sure it's tough for him, but he does a good job of it. But you're absolutely right. It doesn't mean it's easy for him. So it's tough. NFL is a very, very tough sport. All sports are. Athletes, they get paid a lot of money, so they're expected to do great things. There's high expectations, So I get it. I understand why the expectations are high. I understand why the pressure is there. I'm not saying it's unjust, but I'm just saying the way I look at it is the game today is so much more pressure cooker than it was, 20, 30 years ago because there's more money involved in sports and athletics, so much more money involved than there ever was 20, 30 years ago, 10 years, 5 years ago. So much more money. So it's crazy. Peter says, I'd rather watch you always keep it real. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Appreciate the real ones, man. Love you. I'm not at their level, but do my thing. My man, Peter Parker, says, I'm going to the game on Saturday. I'll be there in my 5 jersey. Z says, these athletes get paid millions. They do get paid millions. They get paid a lot. And again, I'm not saying it's unwarranted. I'm not saying it's unjust. They should have pressure. You're making that much money. The pressure is definitely warranted. It's just like there should be high expectations. But I'm saying the way that social media has evolved over the years and sports media over the years, it's completely changed how these players are being looked at in the coverage. And the pressure is even higher than it ever was. But you're absolutely right, Z. These athletes get paid millions. Crazy money. Supreme says people don't have respect to Lance. They don't. Yeah. Marcellus Wiley talking big trash. Marcellus Wiley is trash. Sorry. He's a trash bucket. So, what I feel, though? Maybe just because we're Niner fans and we see, all we see is Niner content. Well, at least me, like 85, 90% of my feed is Niner content, Niner content. That's what I look at. And that's what I'm looking for to post content. I'm looking for Niner content to post content. But whenever I see, like, negative stuff, toxic stuff, I feel like the Niners have the most negativity, the most toxic haters, I guess is what, like, I feel like the Niners are always the people that get put down the most. Like, I don't see a lot of positive. Like, the media hates the Niners. Like, they hate the Niners. They always take shots. They always, whenever there's an opportunity for them to hate the Niners, they're going to do it. You know why? Because the 49ers fan base is huge, and they're going to get more clicks. They're going to get more views. They're going to get people like me and other big Niner content creators. So let's be honest. The Niners Twitter, the Niners content creator department is probably bigger than about most of these damn other teams. Like, no other team, I'm sorry, has a content creator hierarchy or group, if you will, or community like the 49ers. Like, it's crazy. There's some dope creators that I've worked with, that I've talked to, that I know that you guys follow. It's not just me. You know me, but there's so many more of them. So when people talk trash on the Niners, we come out. So it's going to give them views. They're going to go and trend. We're going to retweet it. We're going to keep the receipts. Me and all the other big pages, we're going to repost their things, and it's going to get them talking, and it's going to be good for them. They know it's good for their views. 100%. They know that the 49ers community is going to be outlandish if you say anything negative about our team. If you say something negative about our Niners, we're coming for your neck. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Supreme says when the 49ers win the Super Bowl, they're going to have to respect. They're going to have to, but they won't. I guarantee you they'll find a way to hate, because the Niners are always nationally criticized. And it's because we have a huge fan base. If you look around the NFL, all the fan bases, 49ers are one of the biggest, again, fan bases. They spend the most money. Like, our fans travel well. You saw on a preseason game, 49ers packed Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. They packed that stadium. It's a freaking preseason game. A preseason game. A preseason game. Preseason game, bro. We packed their stadium. Like, the 49ers fans consume content. You guys love the content. My man says, how many interceptions have the big dog quarterbacks had at practice? We don't know, because they don't put their stats out. 49ers beat writers, they putting everything out. All the news. Crazy. They putting all the practice stats out. Christine says she listens to Raj and Cam. Cam's a beast, man. I love Cam Inman. It's my guy. You got some great people out there. But that's the whole point, is the 49ers fan base is huge. The media base is huge. The content creators, just the whole community is huge, like, more. It's probably bigger than anybody out there. And, you know, maybe the Cowboys is just close because they have a huge market. You know, there's a few teams that have as big of a draw as the 49ers. And it's a very top-heavy list. Like, there's five top teams. And after that, you know, teams bounce around here and there. But, man, the 49ers coverage is crazy. So when people talk trash and they start hating on the Niners, we're going to notice. We're going to listen. Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy how much the Niners get hated. That's just my take on it. Again, I see a lot of Niner content. I'm always around the Niner content, so I feel like we're always disrespected more than anybody. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not seeing enough other content, but I feel like the Niners are heavily criticized. I don't know. That's just me, but it definitely feels like that. That's the vibe I get every time I come on, you know, Instagram or Twitter or something, and I'm scrolling through posts. I'll see like one negative thing a day at least for the Niners. It's like, come on. I think today, Bleacher Report, they posted, who's better, the Cowboys or the Niners? Like, come on, man. Like, the defense. Is that really a question? We whipped their ass. We beat them 2 years in a row in the playoffs. We beat them. Our defense is better. They couldn't score diddly squat on us 2 years in a row in the playoffs. Our defense is better. We had Nick freaking Bosa, the reigning defensive player of the year. We have Javon Hargrave, who they didn't even list in the post. So it's like, just people use the Niners for clicks. Always use the Niners for clicks. They always do. Niners sell. The tickets back that up. The merchandise sales backs it up. The Niners sell. 5 primetime games. We got 5 primetime games. Five. Of course, the 49ers are in the primetime spot because people want to see them. Must-see TV. 5 primetime games. So, of course, the media is going to attack us. It's unfortunate for Trey, though. Very unfortunate for Trey Lance. I'm hoping he bounces back this week and plays. Speaking about the game, let's talk about that. So today, Kyle Shanahan, he wouldn't fully commit on his plan for the quarterbacks. You know, he's got one more practice tomorrow to really see what's going to happen. But he did say that Sam Darnold and Trey Lance are probably going to split rotations again, just like they did last week. But it seems like Sam Darnold might be the first one out because he wants to really see what Sam can do coming out the gates. We talked about that last week. He said that on Sunday, too, that he might get Sam Darnold a little bit more reps. So it sounds like Sam Darnold is going to start this game. He hasn't confirmed it, but it kind of low-key sounds like that. It's a QB2 competition. It's still a competition. Trey Lance has not won it, and Sam Darnold has a chance to ice it this Sunday or next Sunday. Or this Saturday, sorry. What do you guys think? Sam Darnold, QB2? Should he take QB2? And if Trey Lance doesn't win QB2, what should he do? Should he just be patient? Should he wait? Should he just suck it up and sit there on the bench and wait for his turn? Or should he ask for a trade? What do you think? Sati says Sam looked good in his limited time out there. He didn't look bad. I mean, he didn't have an crazy stat line. He didn't make amazing plays, but he moved the ball. He knew how to get the ball out of his hands fast. He was rushed, quick release, threw some dimes. Kyle wants to see what he can do with more time out there. So it's tough. Yeah, that throw from Sam Durrani Bell, probably the best play of the day for them. It was their highlight of the day. So let's see. H. May says, I'd rather have the experienced QB as the backup. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people are saying, with Trey Lance. Of course, he's raw. We know he's developing. And if you have to bring him in as a backup, he's still going to be developing. Sam has played 55 starts. It's not like he has to be taught how to do certain things. Obviously, he just has to be a guy that can limit mistakes, get the ball to the playmaker. Sam just has to limit mistakes. We know what Sam can do. We know his skill set. It's not like it's anything new. So I think a lot of people are on the same boat, Maze, that they'd rather have the experienced quarterback as backup. I mean, I love Trey. I want to see him get his opportunity. But Niners need to win the Super Bowl. And I think in Kyle's eyes, he wants the guy that he feels can operate the offense better. And right now, it's close. And I think he's leaning towards Sam Darnold just by what he's been saying in the press conferences the last few days. Again, Sunday, after that game against the Raiders, he was glazing Sam Darnold. He says, I can't wait to see him get more action. And we'll see. And now Sam Darnold shits the bed this weekend. Trey Lance, golden opportunity for him. But it's still a QB2 competition. So Supreme says, will Gray be the return man for Saturday? I don't know. I think that it's still going to be a battle between Jameson and Ronnie Bell. Oh, the logo behind my head. I got it from, I don't even remember the name of the people, but I got it from my buddy Ken from 49ers Tailgate. He hooked me up with the people that make it. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the company. I'll have to look it up and see what it was. I totally forgot. But a guy, Ken from 49ers Tailgate, he got me connected with them, and they hooked it up. So I just don't remember who makes it. If somebody knows who makes those things, leave it in the comments. And if I see the name, I'll remember it. I just don't remember off the top of my head. Z, Trey is slow. Yeah, he processes slow, unfortunately. He's still, wet behind the ears. Timid out there. Lowe says, do I think the majority of week 1, McKivitz is going to line up against TJ Watt? I mean, if they're smart, yeah, you line up TJ McKivitz again. If you line up Watt against McKivitz, Colton McKivitz, he's unproven. He's never really been the starting guy. And why would you want to throw him up against Trent Williams? Right? Hex something. It's hex something, yeah. You definitely don't want him to go up against Trent Williams. I'm sure they're going to try to move Trent to his side or something like that. But I think if I'm the Steelers, I'm moving him away and put him against Colton McKivitz all day. Colton has to prove himself. Colton, his first game in the of the season as the starting right tackle, is going to be a proving ground game. He better go out there and earn that shit against TJ Watt. But we're not even there yet. But to answer your question, yes, I think they're going to line up TJ Watt against Colton McKivitz. It's going to be a fucking scary day. I'm not ready for that yet, man. Let's not get there. Whew. Sati, you can see the difference between Trey and Sam. It's pure experience. Sam was out there reading the defense and 100%, and I think that's the whole point of this is Sam doesn't need the reps. He doesn't need the seasoning. He knows how to read things pre-snap. Trey still figuring that out. He still has to, figure out certain looks that the defense is giving him. Figure out which guy I need to get the ball to based on coverage looks. So I like Trey, though. We need him to get these. These are very important reps for him. I know preseason doesn't matter for the veterans, but for a guy like Trey Lance, these preseason games are very vital to him. So I hope he gets to play a whole second half. I hope he gets to play the whole second half. If Sam is the guy that starts this weekend, I want to see Trey Lance get a lot of action. I think he'll be a little bit more settled down. It's the home crowd. The Niner fans will be there, although it was a home crowd in Vegas. So. He just has to hold his ground. It's easier said than done, man. DJ's a god dang monster, man. Woo! Monster. TJ Watt's a monster, man. I wish he was on the Niners. Can you imagine if TJ Watt and Nick Bosa were on the same team? Oh, wait! That would be crazy. Crazy. When we get there in week 1, it's still preseason week 2. It's still preseason week 2. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's see. Any questions? The 49ers did work out a few. They worked out a few offensive linemen today, offensive tackles. They worked out 3 guys: Jesse Davis, Rashad Hill, and Ty Neshke. Maybe they'll sign one tomorrow. So they'll probably get some depth for the offensive line heading into this week. Again, Jesse Davis, Rashad Hill, and Ty Neshke. Roll the dice, pick one of them up. You got some depth for the weekend. We'll probably get a word on it tomorrow. So, are we worried about D-line depth? I'm a little worried about the depth of this team, but I think it'll fill out. I think it'll get better as the weeks go on. You know, first week of preseason, you take it with a grain of salt, I guess, because these guys haven't played football in a while. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, if they come out looking pretty bad this week, we start worrying a little bit more. So we will see how this goes. But yeah, I hope they pay Nick Bosa soon too. At the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. We're gonna wrap it up. We did about 45 minutes here. We'll probably be live a little later on Instagram. But I hope everybody has a good rest of your day. We got maybe a question or two. If I missed anything, I'll take a look here. But I think we pretty much covered everything. I went on a rant. I just had to get all that off my chest. I was driving home and I was like, God, this is what I got to say today. Pocket says, you don't put Bosa in preseason. You don't. They still got time. I'm not worried. He'll be on the field week 1. I'm sure. Christine, appreciate you. Quick Stang says, thanks for the info on the sign. It's awesome to see you have a YouTube. You're real live. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, no, I wish I could still stream those games. It was fun during those days when I used to be able to, but appreciate y'all, man. Love to always connect with the faithful. It's always cool to see you guys, watching the shows and everything and hopping in on and watching the content. So always appreciate the support. I love y'all. You know how we do. You guys have a good rest of your day. I will see you a little later on Instagram. I'm going to take a little break, eat some food, and we'll reset for the rest of the day. Y'all have a good night. Stay locked in. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. One more practice tomorrow, preseason game Saturday against the Broncos. If you're there, have a good day. Have a good time. And bang, bang, not again.